Hey guys, and welcome back to TomOldy. As you can see, this video up here, where am I pointing? That way. There, around me, if I can do this right. That way. Like, I guess. There we go, pointing in the right direction. So this video is The Verge's PC build guide from 13th of September 2018. So it's just over a year ago now. And yeah, I'm finally doing a reaction to it. I know it is complete and utter garbage, this build guide. I've seen a couple of reactions to it already. But now I know myself I'm a bit better with PCs. I think I'm slightly know a lot more than this guy does anyway, is what I'm trying to say. So I think I can give a review on this because I know what I'm doing with a PC. The case that he's using in his PC, I actually have my PC in it, see? But yeah, I've built a lot of systems over the past 3 years now, and yeah, time to give a review on this since I'm actually kind of a tech channel now. So let's see how it goes.
So a few years ago, TC, or Managing Editor, built a gaming desktop, but it's kind of out of date, and it's definitely not going to hold up for Battlefield 5. So let's build a new one.
So yeah, it's quite old. Battlefield 5 was
you can
set
build
to be
a gaming
released.
desktop for around $1,000, but I want to go all out, so I spent around $2,000. PC like this is going to be...
Okay, it says you can build a desktop for around 1,000. You can do it for any price point you want. Not just 1,000, 2,000. From looking at some of the parts he has, actually, 2,000 doesn't seem quite realistic. By $1,000, that's still a bit high for most people. I'd say you can build a good desktop for around £500 or dollars.
Be able to play most
My
games
one was
at
about
ultra settings. So,
1,500.
what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table. Preferably not...
You don't need a table. Most of the time I build PCs. This is not recommended, by the way, but most of the time, I don't know why, but I build PCs on the floor or on my desk. A lot of the time I actually end up just sitting with the computer in my lap, away from any table, because I personally find it easier to build like that. You don't need a table, it is recommended, yes.
Not metal. If it's going to be metal, have an anti-static working
Don't have a
surface
metal table.
layered on top of it, a thermal paste applicator, an Allen wrench.
You don't need an Allen key. I don't know why he called it an Allen wrench, but you do not need an Allen key unless your case requires it, and most likely it will give you an Allen wrench or key if you have a case that requires it.
Some tweezers to tighten.
And thermal paste applicator, you don't actually need it, but you can use it, so I guess he's not really doing anything wrong there.
Up the wires, a Swiss Army
They're not tweezers, they're cable ties.
knife, which hopefully has
And you'd probably need more than two. I use probably at least 50 in a build.
a Phillips head screwdriver in it.
And you actually want a Phillips head screwdriver, not just a standing knife for one, because that would be less than ideal, especially the little nubbly thing. I'd recommend having multiple actually for different size screws and stuff, but that's the one I use. I've used this one for about 4 years now.
And last but not least, an anti-static bracelet, which is to protect you and the parts. These are the parts you're going to need, but...
Okay, he says use an anti-static bracelet. Personally, I don't feel they're needed. Most people say they are. I've never used one. I've never broke a PC. Well, I broke the motherboard or a LG 1151 socket once, but that was me because I was new to PC boarding. It was the first ever PC I built. But he says you need an anti-static wristband. You don't. They're not required. They're nice to have, yes. And number two, the thing he's wearing isn't even an anti-static wristband. It is just a general wristband you'd get from some event. Look, I've got one here from Gay Pride. That's literally what he's wearing.
More importantly, before we get there, we need to understand what...
We're only 50 seconds in and I've already had a lot of complaints about this video. Let's see how it goes.
you need help choosing the right parts for your build, there are sites like PCPartPicker.com that help show presets for...
Okay, he's recommended PC Part Picker. PC Part Picker is an amazing website. I would also recommend it. They also do power things, so it tell you how big of a power supply you need. Example for the PC you will be building. Definitely recommend that. They have done something right there. He's just put the power supply in the case backwards. As I said, I have this case. There's a cutout on the side of the case for air to come in from the power supply. That's going to choke and it will most likely set fire or explode. That PC's, yeah, it's fucked.
To the case and make sure that they all fit and then start working. And now we're really going to...
He just lined up the radiator for some reason. I'm not too sure why he done that.
Start building by adding the
to make sure it
in.
all fits, but surely you do that before you buy the parts.
They're really delicate. You should be really careful with them. And screw in with confidence, but also don't screw in too hard, otherwise you could crack the board.
Just screw in normally. It tends to be a little bit harder than you'd think, but yeah, I don't know. Screw in with confidence. That just feels like a weird way of saying it. Screw in firmly, but not too firm. That's a good way of saying that, I guess. Okay, he put the motherboard in, then the I/O shield. Don't do that. He made a bad decision there with the motherboard, why he chose it, but I'm not going to really talk about that because I could go on for hours. But yeah, I/O shield is always the first thing you should do when building a PC.
SSDs that are really easy to install. Pay close attention to the brace that goes at...
It's not called a brace, it's called an I/O shield.
The back of the computer. You always have to make sure that you really hammer it in because there's no screw.
Hammer it in. Number one, he's not using a hammer. Number two, just push it in firmly. Make sure it's actually in. Don't fucking hammer it.
It really just...
He's put the motherboard in before he's put the CPU in. You should always put CPU in the motherboard, RAM in the motherboard, and the cooler, depending on what kind of cooler it is. I most of the time don't even know if it is like an AIOI. Don't put the motherboard in before you put the RAM and processor in.
You can't... I chose Corsair's 16GB Vengeance LED RAM for two main reasons. One, it has LEDs and we do like lights in our gaming desktops.
Not needed.
Secondly, it's pretty fast RAM. It's 2666
2666 is not fast. Maybe back in 2013. A standard you'd be going for is around maybe 3600, 3200, especially for a DDR set. My current RAM's actually rather slow, and that's 3000 megahertz. So his one being 2666 is not fast RAM.
megahertz, I believe, so it's pretty fast, and this motherboard supports that speed, which is most important. Open the slots first, and just aligning the...
He's only got two DIMMs of RAM, and he's opening 4 slots.
Stick with the middle of the strip, not with...
He's putting it in backwards.
The end, and just lining that up.
That's it. So you can see my mouse. What do I do back? That is supposed to be on this side, because there's a little hole here, where the little hole here goes on, so it's the wrong way around.
With the middle of the strip, not with the end, and just lining that up with the logo. So once you hear that solid clasp and you don't see the gold connectors on the side anymore, that's when you know the RAM is in. Step 3,
sure I just changed slot there as well.
hard drive, or in this case, the NVMe SSD.
Oh.
I chose this.
You see the RAM? The RAM's in the wrong place. It's in slots next to each other. It's supposed to be the slots apart from each other, because dual channel exists. So it's only going to be like 8 gigabytes of RAM instead of 16 he gets. This is actually retarded.
This format. Latch, so it's really simple and really straightforward.
It's installed that
Speed
wrong.
for gaming is
There's no
important when it comes to
standoff
hard
for it.
drives.
There's
You
supposed
want
to be a
files
little
to load
standoff.
quickly, and you want
So
games
he's
to load
just screwed that
quickly,
directly
so
into the
that's why it's best
motherboard,
to use
which
an
could
SSD.
cause a short circuit.
Okay, so step 4, we're going to install the graphics card. I chose PNY's GTX 1080, which is overclocked.
That's not 1080, that's a 1080 Ti. Huge difference. So yeah, it's Future Tom from editing the video. Yeah, turns out it is actually a 1080, not a 1080 Ti. I was wrong. It says a 1080 Ti OC, or 1080 OC. I thought it said 1080 Ti, so I was wrong there. Fuck.
Which lane you choose depends entirely on what other parts you're going to put in the system. I'm just going to pick the top.
No, it doesn't. You always go for the top lane, unless the second lane is the same speed as the top lane. The top lane tends to have priority over the other lanes, and it tends to be faster. It tends to have... I'm not too sure exactly what I'm talking about, by the way, but I know 16 is top, and the bottom ones tend to be 8, so it's about half speed. I'm not sure what speed it is, but it's a lot fucking faster.
Top one because the SSD is at the bottom, and I don't want to cover it.
It doesn't matter if you cover the SSD.
I think it looks like.
I have this case, and that bit is fiddly as hell, I find. I don't know if it's just me, but I always find that bit's fiddly as hell, so have fun if you have this case.
And make sure that you align it with these little insulating
I've never heard anyone
pads,
call it a brick.
so the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest
It's
of the
not going to
system.
short circuit,
So just
power
take it
supplies
in,
are enclosed,
Slide it in
and
nice
you
and
can actually
easy
touch them when they're
until
turned
you
on
have
and
a
you'll be
snug
fine.
fit, and then shift it
Once
to the
again,
back
he's placed
and
it the
make
wrong
sure
way
it's
around,
right
it's going
up
to choke.
against the come a little later.
He hasn't installed the
Always be
processor
sure
yet, I
to try
forgot,
to
fuck.
place it in the system first before you install
He's
it. 'cause you can
installing
see it
the
takes up a lot of space.
heatsink. He's installing a heatsink before he's installed the processor, number one. And that heatsink's not got any fans on. The PC's going to overheat.
But in this case, no pun intended.
Also,
it
I
fits
hate
in
his glasses.
perfectly, and we're gonna start
Anyone that wears
screwing
those
it
yellow
in.
glasses,
So
I
there's nothing
fucking hope you
special
die.
about this screwing in process. They're just really long screws because they go through the entire frame of the cooler.
They're long screws because they're supposed to hold the heatsink and the the fans onto it, not because they go straight through.
And they take forever.
They take forever because you're doing it wrong.
So next up, cables. Every power supply is going to come with a big bag of Velcro cables. It's kind of daunting at first.
Big bag of Velcro cables. They're not Velcro cables. They're cables. And not every bag or not every not every CPU comes with one. Only modular ones do. I don't use a modular power supply, and mine don't come with it. It's only if you use modular or semi-modular. But a lot of budget CPUs or PSUs do not come with that.
So you always have to find the ones that are going to fit. In this case, you need to match.
He should have done
those
this first
cables
before he done
with the
any
correct
building.
descriptions on the power supply.
Like, get it
Next
already,
step is
as
we're
he said.
connecting the power supply to the motherboard with a 24-pin cable.
He's
We're just
connecting the
matching
power
that cable
supply
from
to the motherboard before he's
threading
even
it through
installed the
back,
processor.
and attaching the 24-pin header to the power supply so that we can have one of the connections complete. The next few additions will be for the GPU, for any specific ports that the case has, for any lighting that the case has, the
I was
CPU
going to say, he hasn't
cooler,
installed the
anything else
front
really.
I/O yet.
We're
He should have
installing
done that first.
the CPU, the heart of the computer or the brain, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, it's
So
the
to
brain.
do this, we're just going to
The
remove
heart would be the power supply.
plastic covering that they put on the motherboard. We're just going to take this little plastic part out. We'll just toss that out of here.
You should,
And
install
now
the
we
CPU
have
before
an
you take that out.
exposed CPU holder,
because now that
or
is not
rather
protected.
slot.
And that's
on the
what I made a
motherboard.
mistake on my first ever
And we're
PC
going to
build.
use the CPU applicator. This is a special little part that not everyone may get, but this motherboard that we got from
CPU
ASUS definitely
applicator.
does have. It's called a
I've
CPU
never seen one of them.
installation tool. It makes it really
Literally
useful
never.
if you want to install
What even is that?
a Core i7 hexa-core CPU.
Just use your hands.
Yeah, we've got one, and it's an 8th generation.
Yeah, we've got one. Because they are super rare, guys. He's got the rarest processor in the world. It's just a, It's just a, 8th Gen i7, nothing special.
Chip,
I've
and
got
it's
to find
ready
one
to
to
go.
take this. Hello?
Hello,
Hello?
my name is Isabella Nielsen and I'm calling from Interphantom Services. Yeah, I've been informed that you was involved in a car accident that was not your fault. Is that right?
Apparently I've been involved in a car accident. This is an automated message. Hi. See? No respond. I had a car crash, guys, apparently. I've never had a car crash. Just to let you know. It just makes
and
me want
light
to
it
die.
up with the lines up.
He didn't even
and
use
we'll
it.
clasp down on it.
What's the point of putting it in that thing? He put in that thing and then did not
So
even
we're
use
about
it.
to apply
That's
thermal
just
paste
pointless.
to the CPU. Every CPU cooler actually comes with a bit of thermal paste already neatly
No.
applied in a circle around.
He's got thermal paste out, and there's thermal paste on the processor already, on the CPU, on the AOI. Sorry, on the AOI. There's already thermal paste. Why has he got another tube? It's just unnecessary costs, and you don't need it.
It, but it's usually not enough. It's good, essentially PC building practice to have a little bit extra.
No, it's
layer
not.
it
You
on
need the
top of
right amount.
CPU.
That's too much.
The final portion is
Especially
to add
how
the
he's
CPU
laid
cooler
out. You're supposed to just do a dot in the middle, not a fucking circle. This guy is actually retarded.
to the top end of the processor. So you're gonna see that there are 4.
Okay, what's happened to it? He has a... What's that thing he had? The CPU thermal paste applicator. The spready thing. What's the point of having it if he's not used it? There's so many things he's got but he doesn't use. Like, look at it. It actually just looks like I've just... I don't know. Me on a Friday night after I've been on a certain website, if you know what I mean.
So we fully built the PC. Everything's put together.
Did you see that cable management? Did you see that cable management?
And of course,
Look
the
at
back
it.
panel where all this fun stuff is happening. So we fully built
Look at that. That is rubbish. My PC, I thought had bad cable management. I'm going to show you. That's what mine looks like. And I think that looks a lot better than that. And I thought my cable management was bad. Like, this is actually terrible. I do not hope they use that one at The Verge, because The Verge is shit anyway. And the fact that that's such a
Thanks
bad
for watching.
computer.
Let me know
No,
if you've
fuck
built
you.
a computer before yourself.
So yeah, that's a really bad PC build. Don't build PCs like this. Definitely don't use that as a tutorial on how to build PCs. It was terrible, like actual terrible. But yeah, once again, I know this is a bit late. It came out over a year ago, but that's my review of it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.